Dr. King would have urged the president to put in his speech, as he did last night, that he would not walk away from the table, especially a table that will provide health care to all Americans. And so Dr. King would have called us to conscience today and say that despite the way it looks, the way it has gone down, and perhaps some of the items in it, we still had to fight for it. And I would urge you, despite all of the other issues that you want to fight for or believe in, it's still one of the most important issues that the president has decided to address. For me, it's like Hurricane Katrina, when my entire family had to sit and wait for their own government to come and get them. But health care is just as personal, just as important. My mother, when she would get home at night, she would call us in order our birth: Cheryl, Sheila, Donna, Teddy, Chet, Lisa, Dimitri, Kevin, and Ziola. There were 9 of us. Like my mother, we were born at Charity Hospital. My mother also died at Charity Hospital because despite the fact that she worked every day of her life to raise her 9 babies, my mother simply had no health insurance. Her employer did not provide it. And so when she took sick, she stayed home one day because she worked every day, taking care of another family. And when it was clear that she didn't feel well enough to go back to work, she went back to Charity on a Thursday. She was dead 2 days later. My mother, had she had access to health care and just some medicine, she would be alive today and would not have died at 52. Dr. King would have marched for health care for all. He would have marched against the war in Iraq. And he would have urged the president to bring our troops home sooner rather than later. He would have fought to end the war in Afghanistan, though he would have understood that our nation was attacked on 9/11. But he would have urged Muslims all over the world to retake their religion from the evils of bin Laden and al-Qaeda, because the Prophet Muhammad drew his strength and inspiration from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of our fathers. Dr. King would have fought this war, but not with weapons of mass destruction. As a little girl, I was inspired by Dr. King. I was too young to march with King, but when he marched, he passed on his dream to us. He inspired us. He paved the way for little black girls one day to stand as we do, to believe in his dream and his message, and to always understand the fierce urgency of our day. If we believe in his vision, his promise of a new beginning for our country, to live up to what America must become, we have to hold on. We can't grow weary in doing good. And we have to summon the strength to believe that he did make a difference in our lives, and it is now our turn to make a difference. It was said, and it's resonated with me so well last year, that when Rosa Parks sat down, Martin Luther King could finally walk. And when Martin Luther King finally walked in March, he did so because Obama would one day run. And Obama ran so our children can fly. We are the generation that must learn how to put on our wings so that we can help our children fly. This is our time and our moment to become the change that we voted for, to believe in the dreams that so many understood would give us this moment in history. President Obama is not the end. It's not the realization of Dr. King's dream. Dr. King didn't have just one dream, but rather the election itself in this moment offers us a new beginning to rebuild that bank of justice, to rebuild its coffers, its capital, and to give another generation the opportunity to withdraw so that they can pursue their dreams, and so that they will have the strength to continue the long struggle for civil rights and equal opportunity, and yes, for our own democracy to be strengthened. This is your moment, my friends, and your time to respond to the fierce urgency of now, to lead the march for justice, to give back to your community, our community, because we're waiting on you. We're waiting for you. And I'll say this in closing, and Alvin and so many here who knows me personally can tell you, I didn't wait for an invitation. You can imagine what it was like to be a 21-year-old woman trying to organize in the midst of men who didn't know if I deserved a seat at the table because of my age. And later, when they gave me a seat, they said I could borrow it for just a moment, and I said, fine, I'll bring in a folding chair because I intend to stay in the movement. The movement was my way of giving back, to be a part of it. But I never had an invitation. No one gave me a letter inviting me to join. I knew it was my call, and I answered my call. So start now, right where you are, here at this great institution. It's your time to answer the call. I used to pray and ask God that when I became a woman, when I was old enough to do something with my life, I wanted to help my family. I saw two poor people working every day, a mom, a dad who loved us. I knew that they gave us everything they could possibly give their kids. They gave us hope. They filled us up with dreams because they didn't have much money. But what they gave us was invaluable. They gave us faith. And they gave us the courage of our convictions. They gave us love for our family, that we stick together. In a few days, I'm going home for the first time since Hurricane Katrina to see my family for the first time. 90% of them are back in their homes. It's been a brutal 4.5 years, but my 79-year-old dad can still make the best chicken wings in America. My brothers and sisters can cook anything from scratch, and all I need to do is just go home and get something cold so they can all wash it down. They don't let you cook when you go home. They don't think you still have what those, the groove. I'm like, it's okay. I don't mind deferring to someone else who can stir up etouffee better. But it just reminds me of that old song, Hold On. If you hold on just a little longer, you just keep holding on, everything will be all right. But you have to have faith. You got to have dreams. You got to remember that Dr. King didn't die in vain, and that this moment didn't occur simply because we dreamed about it, but you all worked for it. Believe that, believe in yourselves, and everything will be all right. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.